Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get started with the return in TaxAct. Now, I'm going to tell you some really important things for using the software and approaching the problem. For this first tax return project, I am going to walk you step by step through entering the entire return. The future returns, you'll get to do it yourself. Using TaxAct is mainly about exploring around, clicking around, entering stuff, looking at your PDF to see if it looks right, and then going back and making changes if you need. But there's some fundamental things that you need to know about the way the software works. So there's two sides to the software. If you see at the top where it says Q&A right here, this is a interview feature, and I do not want you to use this. This is not what I'm going to show you how to use for this return, because professional returns will be using something. Okay, it's prompting me to save the return. So that's, I don't know what I hit, but you can save the return. Be sure to add your first, I would take out this information about the Johnsons here and instead do your last name and project one. I don't know. I'm having trouble at the moment, so I'm just going to save it like this, but you save it as, your last name, project one, and then 2018 individual return, or you could even say comprehensive problem one. Russell, project number one, comprehensive problem one, save. Okay. Now, if you remember a second ago, there was more options on the left. I'm going to click this folders option. See this top little folder at the left? That changes it like this. So we're going to use this side, which is called the forms side. And I click the folder. Not the Q&A, because the Q&A is set up to be more of a DIY experience and not how you would be entering a return as a professional. Plus, the other thing is that it's really good experience clicking through the forms. This is going to cover everything you've learned, and you'll be able to use everything you've learned in filling out these forms. Now, as far as what you need to know, so you see how everything's in green and some things are in blue. So things that are in blue are either calculating or flowing from another place in the software. So whenever you're on any screen, and I'll talk more about the setup in a second, but whenever you're on any screen, you should only enter things that come out green. So date retired, let's try 1/21/2010. Oh, that's green. So we're fine, right? Let's see if we entered. Now I'm going to delete it. Oh, will it let me? I don't know why my computer is giving me a hassle. Anyways, I will leave that there. But if you see what the 67 is, okay, that's calculating based on the date of birth, the age as of the last day of the tax year, or the first day of 2019. So as of 12/31/2018, what was the person's age? These are calculating. If you change these numbers, they'll turn red, and that means you overrode them. So you do not want to override anything, making it red. Now, I forget, did they want to contribute to the presidential election campaign? No, they do not. This is where you could check those boxes, $3 to contribute to the presidential campaign. So we have the form showing up on this side. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we go different places and start entering stuff. So on the left, if you see these little folders, we can open up these folders by clicking just on the folder. So you can see dependent and qualifying person. You would click add copy to enter a dependent. health insurance. So I think it said they have health insurance all year, right? So we'll click on federal health insurance and we'll double click, and then that opens over here on this screen. And so you can go all the way down. So this is information. You see the top level here is informational worksheets. Then we have forms and schedules. So this will be where we'll find the actual Form 1040 and Schedule A. Then we have documents received. So that's things like the W-2 that Esther gets for her part-time work, any forms that they received. So 1099 INT, box 1, we'll find that there. SSA-1099, we'll find that there. Sometimes you may end up in worksheets, because I'm going to show you how to drill down. So whenever you come to a cell where if you enter a number, it turns red and you're overriding, instead of doing that, I'm going to go to the 1040. Instead of overriding, so like here you can see their names, it's in blue. If you try to change that here, it's going to turn red. Instead, what you do is you what's called drill down. So I'm going to click the little folder to the right here. And that takes me to where I need to enter that information. Now, sometimes because of the way taxes work, it won't be that straightforward, right? And then there may be more stuff that has to be entered somewhere else. So occasionally that might happen with a number or two where you're like, I can't enter it anywhere without overriding. In that situation, which we may or may not experience in this return, you would just continue on your return and come back to that amount later. Or what will happen is you'll end up finding where you enter that amount later when you're entering another piece of information, because it's dependent on that information. So what I recommend for this problem is really to print off this comprehensive problem, or at least write in your book. And as we're going to go through things, be sure to check off every single thing that you enter so that you don't get confused. So here we can see, here's the 1040, and I'm just going to give some examples here about entering stuff. So if we come down, we're in basic information. I drilled down, so we're not at the 1040. So I'm going to double click the 1040 again to bring me back here. Now we're back at the 1040. We can see all this information coming through, which is why it's in blue. It's flowing from the informational worksheet section. We're going to come down here, and you can see they already have the standard deduction here, but we know what they'll take after you do part 1. So then wages. So we know she has a W-2, right, with $15,000. Oh, I want to just type that in. I'm getting a warning. Do I want to, if I click override value, the bottom option, it will let me type it in and it will be red. But that's what you should not do. Instead, you could click open supporting form, or you just click this folder. See how box 1 is selected? And I can click the folder. I click the folder. The little hand to the left is just to take notes. So if you're stuck there and you want to take some notes, it's not really, I wouldn't think it would be something you would use for this problem, but if you find it useful, you're welcome to use it. And then now you can see here, we have Form W-2, wage and tax statement. Now there's a lot of other variations of that W-2, but all we care about is the first one. And so we want to add Esther's W-2, right? So now this is a form that looks a lot like a W-2. But if you look at the very top, it says, this belongs to James is checked off. So we want to say, no, this belongs to Esther. Okay, so that covers the basics of how this works. And in case you forget the concept here and the different sections, I'm going to keep this video short so that you can come back to it. And then I'll be picking up here in the next video if you want to continue following me and how I enter things. So you can see here we have this folder open with all of the forms. Okay, we'll look at all of these forms and schedules, the informational forms above. And then we have documents received. So there's W-2 first, because that's the most common, right? Here's our 1099 SSA form, which we'll be adding for James. We just click that add a copy. Or if you don't know where something is, remember we can always drill down from the main 1040 form. So often you can just, if you're confused at all, just always go back to the 1040 and look for where the amount should be showing up. And then you can drill down by doing that right click and entering the box. And this is a subtotal, so that doesn't apply. All right, so I will stop this video and I'll see you in the next video where I'll be picking up with Esther's W-2. See you then.